Peace and welcome to this September spiritual forecast reading for our fire signs. Fire signs that is Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. Whether it is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this reading is for you, fiery beings. We're going to first start off this reading with what's the overall energetic for what's the overall theme for the month of September for those of you who are a Leo and Aries or a Sagittarius, sun, moon, or rising. First thing we're tapping into, what is the overall energy? What is the main focus? What is the recurring theme for this sacred month of September? Ooh. All right, we got two cards that have come out for the month of September for you fire signs. The first thing is courage. Ooh. How funny is that the first card is courage when you got the cowardly lion from the Wizard of Oz. All I want for courage. I want courage, right? You want that pendant of courage. So throughout this month of September for you fire signs, you're needing to tap into a certain level of courage, a certain level of inner strength and confidence and self-assertiveness and going for whatever it is that you desire. Another card that came out for you fire signs is the imagination. Understand, fire signs, that imagination rules the nation. So what this is saying to you overall, just getting started, is that throughout the month of September, you have to have the courage to imagine yourself greater. You have to have the courage to think about yourself, see yourself, talk to yourself, and imagine a better life situation and circumstance for yourself, fire signs. Have the courage to go for the things that you've been imagining, the things that you've been visualizing. Spirit is like, have the courage to actually pursue it. Have the courage to take action. Have the courage to actually align with the vision. Something that I always tell my clients is you have to get very clear on what your big picture vision is. That means, what is your dream life? What is your dream situation? What is your dream circumstance? So for all you fire signs, beginning this month, I want you to get clear on that. What that's going to look like is when you go into your meditation. When you go into your meditation, fire signs, I want you to set aside some very specific time for just asking your higher divine self, what is it do I really want? What is it do I really desire? What am I meant to do? Who am I meant to be? How am I meant to shine my light? That's what you have to ask yourself. And as you ask yourself that question, just pay close attention to what you see in your visualization. What shows up, right? Even if the image does not come out clearly while you're in that visualization and utilizing that imagination, fire signs, really lean into how it feels. Does it feel right? Does it feel pure, right? What are you feeling as you are conjuring up these images that you feel are in alignment with your heart's desires, that you feel like are in alignment with what spirit is asking of you? So courage. I want you also, fire signs, to take risk throughout this month of September. Take risk, right? How can you tap into a certain level of bravery? How can you tap into a certain level of overcoming some fears throughout the month of September? Understand that the only way that you overcome your fears, fire signs, is by facing them. So be courageous, face your fears, take risks, do the hard work. You know, when you face your fears, fire signs, this actually changes your subconscious mind. This helps you to cultivate and create just this overall new belief system that you've been thriving off of when you face your fears. So this month of September, when things come up that make you feel uncomfortable, Spirit is like, don't turn around and don't turn and run away. Spirit is like, don't turn and run away. There are going to be some things that you're going to be faced with, fire signs, that Spirit is asking you to face it head on and to imagine yourself as a winner. One of the other exercises that you can do is if there's this one experience in your life that is really what has created a certain level of fear inside of you, if there's that one experience that you know has kind of shocked you into being the person that you have been, Spirit is saying it's time for you to use your imagination. Spirit is saying it's time for you to use your imagination and see yourself as a winner in that situation. So I remember one time with me, y'all, I was playing basketball. I was on a basketball team. I was in like 8th grade. And we were doing like a 3-man weave, which was when you pass the ball to one of your teammates, you run behind them, you pass the ball, they run. It's just a whole bunch of weaving like this, and then you go and take the layup. In some way, somehow, one of my teammates had dropped the ball, and I'm running, and I'm all focused, and I'm all intentional about getting the drill right. And I didn't see that she dropped the ball, and I tripped over the ball and I fell. This was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. So freaking embarrassing. In 8th grade, in middle school, that's when you are the most sensitive to the thoughts, the opinions, and the feelings of others. So I fall and trip over the basketball, and I was so embarrassed. And from that moment, it just made me afraid. It just made me feel more sheltered. I didn't really take risk. And when I would be practicing, when I would be engaging with people, I would just be on guard. I would just always be so uptight and so protected. And I had to realize as I got older that embarrassment from that experience, it really kept me kind of not showing how good or how focused or how intentional I was in certain areas of my life, because I was just afraid of being embarrassed. I was afraid of being so focused, so in tune on whatever it is that I'm doing that I would miss something and I would fall flat on my face like I did in 8th grade. And so many of you have situations and circumstances like that have happened in your childhood, your young adult years, your teenage years, that have embarrassed you, that have made you feel like you can't be the fullness of who you are. You can't really live, in that divine light that you are. And you've been afraid to really show up, right? It's been scary because you're like, okay, people may laugh, people may judge, people may criticize. Well, during this month of September, fire sign, Spirit is like, fuck those experiences. It's the past, and it's the past because we've overcome it. And so right now, throughout the month of September, Spirit is like, have courage. Go beyond that. If there's something that you actually desire, if there's something that you actually seek to experience, do not let your old fears, your old trauma stop you. So you have to see yourself as triumphant. So like if I were to go back and visualize that experience, I would see myself, I wouldn't take away tripping over the ball, because I needed to trip over the ball because that's where the lesson is at. But instead of me tripping over the ball and feeling embarrassed and feeling ashamed and allowing those emotions to stick with me for long, I trip over the ball in my visualization. I get up and I laugh and I'm like, and I just do something that helps me to understand that what happened to me in that moment could have happened to anybody, right? And it doesn't mean that I'm meant to play small or shelter myself or not put myself out there. It could have happened to anybody. And just because it happened to me, it doesn't mean that I'm a person that is not worthy of that focus, that support, that greatness. So I would see myself getting up and laughing with everybody else and being like, wow, that was kind of crazy, but I'm okay, right? I would just see myself doing something different. So a part of your work for the month of September is, if you have this fear, fire signs, if you have this fear that is stopping you from showing up as big and as bold as you're meant to, because you're fire, whether it's your sun, moon, or rising sign, fire means you're very bold, you're very bright, you're very hot, and people are supposed to feel you. So throughout the month of September, I want you to analyze what fears have been standing in the way of you being that bright, brilliant light of fire. And what I want you to do is I want you to use your imagination to see yourself winning in that situation. The trauma could still happen. The whatever it was can still happen, but how you perceive yourself after it, that's the thing that you have to change. You have to have the courage to change it, but not only the courage to change it, have the courage to show up differently in your present moment. Have the courage to show up as if that experience never even happened. So here are some things that are going to support you in this work. The law of love. The law of love. Listen, fire signs have like the greatest reservoir of love, in my opinion. Okay. You fire signs have so much love to give. You have so much passion that you just want to express to other people. And Spirit is saying, I want you to have that same passion, that same excitement, that same zeal that you have for others. Have that for yourself, because that's how you're going to tap into that courage. You have to love yourself so much that you're willing to do the things that are uncomfortable. You're willing to put yourself in crazy situations that allow you to overcome that fear, that allow you to tap into your inner strength, that allow you to cultivate this deep self-confidence, that self-love. Understand that your heart has no bounds. There is no limitation to how deeply you can love yourself and how deeply you can love others. So allow that love that you have for self to push you outside of your comfort zone, to push you into doing things that are going to force you to stretch. And in order to support yourself in that, I want you to already start seeing yourself as a winner, fire signs. In your visualization, in your meditation, matter of fact, before you go to bed, fire signs, for the month of September, for the next 21 days, consistently at nighttime before you go to bed, see yourself as a winner, see yourself thriving, see yourself as successful. Tap into that energy so that when you're out in your waking life and you're just doing and being who you are, you show up radiating winner. You show up radiating courage. You show up radiating that you fire, right? You not fire like burning shit up, but you fire like you're that person, you're that girl, you're that guy. You are a fire divine being, but you got to have courage. The other card that came out for you guys is the law of correspondence. As above, so below, as within, so without. So understand that everything is mirroring something to you. And if you do not like what is being reflected in the mirror, understand, fire signs, that you have the power, you have the authority, you have the strength, you have the royalty and the regalness to change that reflection. And changing that reflection is going to start here and here and here. Changing that reflection, fire signs, means that you stop seeing this situation as if it's not serving you. Stop seeing the situation as if it is taking something away from you, because that perception means that you have an internal state of being of lack. Okay? So understand that the world is the external reflection is just trying to show you so that you can rise up to the highest vibration of yourself, so that you can rise up to the highest version of yourself. And if you are seeing something in your reflection that is displeasing and that is not up to the level that you would desire for it to be up to, this is great. And the reason why that is great is because it gives you a sign or a symbol as to what you need to work on. I love what Abraham Hicks says. She says, resistance is good, because when you experience resistance, it just lets you know that there's something else out there that you actually desire. So if you're in a relationship, fire signs, and you're not liking the friction and the negativity and the arguments or whatever that is showing up, that is spirit showing you or letting you know that there is healthy love available, that there is peaceful love available, that there is a sexy love available. So whenever you're experiencing any contradiction and you're not pleased with what's showing up in your life, it's just a reflection that there's a greater level of consciousness that you need to tap into in order for you to have access to that other version of your reality and of that situation. When you become a better version of yourself through using your imagination and through moving with courage and bravery, fire signs, when you do that, you ultimately will tap into that in your reality. You'll start to see the fruits of your labor. Another card, the law of truth. All right. During this month of September, fire signs, authenticity, and unconditionally loving yourself and setting boundaries with others. Don't lie to yourself throughout the month of September to appease other people, because that means you're living in fear. That's not courage. You have to have courage to set healthy boundaries throughout this month. You have to have courage to say, okay, that no longer works for me. I'm no longer going to accept that, because I know and understand that there's greater for me. You have to know that you are worth that. Have the courage to stand in that, and imagine yourself in healthy relationships and healthy connections. Now, let me say this, because Spirit is bringing this up for you fire signs. Sometimes you have to also learn how to have healthy boundaries with your job, right? Some of you have been overworking yourself, showing up to that job. You don't want to be a disappointment. You want a promotion, or you want to be greater. You want to do these things. And so you have unhealthy boundaries with your work life, where you would, because you're a fire sign, you have a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and you want to do a job well done. So you will stay at that job for way too long, give it way too much energy, and do way too much. And you're not understanding that that is an unhealthy boundary. Because the truth of the matter is that a part of why you're overworking yourself that way is because there's still some fear of lack, and there's some fear of I better make as much money as I possibly can, because I don't know how long this opportunity is going to last. I don't know what may change. And so Spirit is saying the truth is, you have to know and understand that you have been cared for forever, and you always will be. So set healthy boundaries, not just with other people, but healthy boundaries with yourself. Turn off the TV at a certain time. Say, I'm done with working at a certain time. And this is very important, because one of the other cards that you got from the Spiritual Awakening deck is the Law of Perfect Health. Understand that perfect health embodies mental, spiritual, emotional, physical, financial. All right. All of these things are what make up perfect health. And so you have to listen to the divine guidance that is coming up in your body, fire signs. If you're feeling tired, if you're feeling fatigued, if you're feeling exhausted, this is a message from Spirit that you need to rest, that you need to tone down, that you need to tune in, and that you need to give more energy and effort to yourself. Have the courage to have self-care. Have the courage, fire signs, to really take care of yourself. Don't deceive yourself, right? He has on a green shirt, so it's blending into the background. But don't deceive yourself, and don't be envious of others, so much so that you end up doing things that are outside of your reservoir. You know, if you don't have the energy to do something, don't try to force yourself to do it, because that makes you feel safe or comfortable in these spaces and places that you are in. All right. And I love this. Another card that came out for you is the Stand Your Ground. And I love that both of these cards are 2 sevens. Both of these cards are 2 sevens. All right. 7-7. So it's very important that you are in tune with your emotions, that you're honest with yourself, that you face challenges head on during this time, that you do not allow yourself to be in fear, that you are brave, and that you do the things that you know that aligns with your power, that aligns with your greatness. But you got to be honest. Be honest about the fears that you have. Sit down with yourself. See yourself as a winner. Release whatever that thought process is, or that belief is. Release that. Let it go, so that you can stand in the power of who you divinely are. Stand your ground. Go for whatever it is that you desire. Have courage, fire signs. Utilize your imagination. And every night for the month of September, before you go to bed, visualize yourself in that great, wonderful life that you desire. That's the Sacred September spiritual forecast reading for you, fire signs. If you like this, join me on Patreon. I do readings every Monday for the Patreon family. Peace and love.